Railways of Sodor, Episode 2. James and the Freight Hoppers. James is a very well-known engine on the island of Sodor. He's a mixed traffic engine who loves pulling coaches but despises trucks. One morning, he had a train of trucks due for Brandon Docks. Edward needed help on his branch line, and he was the only engine available. James dreaded this kind of work, but knew it had to be done to keep the railway afloat. He looked up and down the goods train and could have sworn he heard somebody talking. He put it past him it was just the guard, but it wasn't. A man known as Willie Frankfurt had climbed into one of the trucks before he was able to leave. James didn't notice this, and as he was chuffing down the line, he soon set off, but as he was going down the line, he heard somebody talking to a camera. He had to stop at Wellsworth, for Bertie was on the crossing gate. "Come on, Bertie, what are you doing on the rails?" "Oh, I'm sorry, my engine's stalled up." "Oh, there we go. I'll be out of your way now, James." Bertie drove off. The crossing gates switched, but when James tried to move, he found the brakes had been jammed on his bogie truck. The guard walked down the train to find none other than Willie, clambered in a compartment under the truck. He clambered in a compartment in the truck. Willie walked down the platform to where James was standing. James had some harsh words for him. "You stupid man, you could have hurt yourself or someone else." "I'll call the driver. Will you call the police, please?" "Right away." He did, and Billy was taken to the station. James soon kept on his journey, minding his own business. He arrived to find Bill and Ben, and as he ran around the end of his train to bring the brake van home, to head back down the line with the brake van, he shunted his trucks instead of making Bill and Ben do it for whatever reason. Maybe he was feeling kind or something. It's not really like James to shunt his own trucks, but whatever. He soon backed down the branch with his brake van in front of him. He was very cross at the fact that somebody had used his train to illegally transport themselves. He left the brake van in a siding and then went on to a shed to the sheds, where he told the other engines about it. And the three big engines included, well, other than Hero, which wasn't really, but soon they spoke up in unison. Disgraceful, disgusting, despicable, the three chanted. Hero, who was a bit confused by what they were talking about, asked, what are you talking about? Oh, it's an old phrase we used to say back in the day, said Gordon. It's when we didn't like something, and the three of us in unison would say that. Ah, I see. And if one of those freight hoppers gets on my train, I'll be sure to show them, said Hero crossly, upset that his friend had been bullied by, and his friend had been taken advantage of. He waited at the station for Patrick's express train to come in. It soon arrived at the station on time and reversed in. After he let his passengers on, he reversed out of the way. The main line was now clear for Hero, but then he had to wait for one of the engines from the Farquhar branch to bring a train of stone for him to take. He waited for his stone to be shunted. Now Hero felt like he was hearing something as he was waiting to depart. Just then, a mysterious lorry showed up and parked on the road next to him. The guard's whistle blew and Hero started to move. When Billy climbed aboard the first truck. Hero, unaware of this, feeling he had accidentally tripped the brakes on the truck, the guard somehow fixed it without noticing the fact that there was somebody on the train, and he walked back to his van. Billy thought his plan was going well, until, as they climbed to the viaduct, Hero gave the trucks a bump when he felt somebody yell. It was Billy. He had fallen into, luckily, a soft field down below, and Hero stopped to make sure things were okay. What had happened was he had fallen off the train when Hero bumped it, and now lay dazed and surprised in a field next to the support beam. Bother that, this railway. The guard climbed down from his van and walked over. Well, he said. Looks like freight hoppers really don't have a place on this island. Soon the police showed up, and the guard helped Billy up and into the car. And they continued on their journey. Hero soon arrived at Ellsbridge, where he was to bring the trucks of stone for the quarry he couldn't mine because it was wet, and they were building a new building. and they were building a works hut. Hero rode into the station and told Thomas about what he had seen. Well, 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 chuckled Thomas. I guess the only way to properly travel on the railway is in coaches. He chuckled and chuffed off. Hero couldn't help but laugh as he reversed next on the other platform.